like to call to order the regular scheduled meeting of the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners. Thank everyone for coming out. We will start by having our Pledge of Allegiance by Ms. Corflowers and our invocation by Commissioner Holberg.
Please the flag, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me in prayer. Father, we're here today to ask for your blessings and guidance in the performance of our duties as elected officials. We pray for strength, love, knowledge, and understanding. Help us to recognize and solve the problems that are presented. Make our solutions fair and just to the best interest of everyone. Help us to overcome our shortcomings and keep us united as a team to work for the betterment of the city and its people. We pray in your name. Amen.
Mr. Chair, if there are no additions or changes to the agenda, I move it be approved as presented.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All right, unanimous. All right, so the first special order of business is to elect a chairperson for calendar year 2015. And I'll quickly make a statement that I want to thank this board for the opportunity and the experience. It's been a great experience over the past year, and from day one, you guys gave me a lot of support and encouraging words, and that meant a lot to me. And at the same time, I had the privilege of getting to chair during a year where a lot of great things happen, but when you have a great staff in place, that comes naturally. So I know the next person in line will also have that benefit. So thank you again for all the support that you guys gave.
Chair, I nominate Doug Holberg as chairperson.
Okay, we have nomination for chairperson. Any other nominations?
Make a motion that we close nominations.
Okay, we have a motion to close nominations. All those in favor of closing nominations, please raise your hand. All right, unanimous, and by acclamation, I guess, Doug Holberg is
Thank you.
the new chairperson.
Thank you very much. And for the first item to appoint a vice chairman for calendar year 2015, I'd like to appoint Mr. Dick Morrow as vice chairman.
Thank you, sir. Of course, you know you get the obligatory birdhouse.
Yay, the birdhouse.
It's all worth it now. It's all worth it now. I'll get my water there.
No.
All right, musical chairs.
Thank you very much for this honor. It was 7 years ago that you bestowed this honor to me as the Board of Commissioners, and hopefully this time I will be a little more humble, remember to serve everyone and love all, and we continue working together as a team. So thanks very much. At this time, I'd like to recognize item 3 is to recognize Chairman Ryan McLemore for his service as mayor for City of Griffin for calendar year 2014. So Ryan I've known for a little over a decade with his involvement with the Kiwanis Club, and have grown to love this young person. It's great to see folks step up and take a part in their community and government. And Ryan has not been shy, and after his first freshman year or his first term of office, he came back and has been a great leader for us. And to show our appreciation, we have a plaque to present to you, Ryan. So if you'll come forward, it says, Griffin presented Chairman Ryan McLemore appreciation for your service to the citizens of Griffin, the Board of Commissioners, January 2014 to December 2014. Congratulations. Fine job, Ray. I'm moving around too much.
I agree. Ryan is a very nice young man and has done a nice job for us. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Oh, you're so confused. All right. We got that musical chairs. There you go. That's why we got Rodney.
If I stepped up, I was Doug Holberg for a little bit.
You can have Okay, first item of business after this, item 4 is recognize Nellie Parsons, accountant with the accounting department, as the December 2014 Strongest Link award recipient. Financial officer Marcus Schwab will address. So Marcus, good evening,
Good
sir.
evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. It's a proud moment here to finally get an opportunity to be before you. I'm here all the time, but not for appointing or awarding or recognizing individuals, and I like to do this occasionally. And the accounting department is one of those areas that's the unsung heroes. They're constantly doing stuff, and in the background, they're constantly moving debits and credits around, and it's very boring work, as Mr. Dick Morrow would say. The financials are boring. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So I'd like to turn it over to Chuck Olmsted and recognizing Nellie Parsons for her achievements this year.
Hello. Nellie's been with us 13 years. She's a graduate of Griffin High, also of UGA, got her associate in accounting there. She's been with the accounting department all that time, started as an accounts payable clerk, has been subsequently promoted to accountant 3 over the years, many in between there. She has a certification with UGA at CVIOG. She's a certified government finance officer level 1, and recently recognized by the auditors for her work she did this year with fixed assets and inventory. And I'd like to present you with this plaque, Nellie. You bet. And the gift certificate.
You got a gift coming behind you. The great chain.
A little heavy. There you go. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Ms. Nellie Parsons. We thank you for your dedication.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Wonderful. All right, item 5, review financials for November 2014. Chief Financial Officer Marcus Schwab will address. Good evening again, sir.
Yes, good evening again. Thanks, Nellie, for being a part of the team. All right, first up is cash balance report. So again, nice and boring. The $4 million increase from the prior month is the contributions from the insurance premium taxes, and so there's 2 items: financial institutions and financial insurance premium tax that came in. So that's the change from the prior month. The other item, the local option sales tax report. We show the contributions for November for $271,000 for lost. No contributions for the splost side. I did receive an email today from Jenna Garrison from the county with containing a document, a letter instructing the Bank of New York to begin posting funds back into the splost account because they've satisfied the debt requirements on the capital and construction. So perhaps in the next month or so, we'll see some residual dollar amounts continue to post into the account. And you do have a document that Mr. Smith forwarded to you from last week or the week before, also from the county, reviewing the performance up through November.
It's good to see that the lost revenue is starting to pick up back to 213 numbers.
Yes, sir.
Up 9,000 is good.
Also included in the packet is the splost annual report. This is completed by Dr. Keller and his group, so it just gives you status on each of the projects. And then we also have the interim statements by fund. If you have any questions on those.
Like you say, you've made it boring. It tracks well.
Yes, sir.
That's a good thing.
I see the proper
I'm sorry, say again, sir?
Nice to see the property tax levy in there that picked up for November.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Anything else, Marcus?
No, sir. That was it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. All right, this time we'll go to citizens' comment. Chairperson opens the floor for comments from the audience. Comments should be related to the specific agenda item not listed on the agenda for public hearing or to concern within the jurisdiction of the city. Commission meetings serve the purpose of conducting city business and are not a forum for the unlimited expression of opinion. The chairperson reserves the right to limit comments to matters germane to city business and may refer speakers to the city manager or other staff for resolution. So at this time, is there anybody on my left that would like to come before the commission? Is there anybody on my right that would like to come before the commission? Last call. All right. Moving on into public hearings. Public hearings are conducted to allow public comment on specific advertised issues such as rezoning, ordinances, policy development, operating budgets, and other legislative actions to be considered by the city commission. First item tonight is receive comments regarding a special use permit to allow the single-family dwelling to be constructed at 107 Blanton Avenue, submitted by Square Foot Ministries. Tucson Kirk will address. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Square Foot Ministries is seeking to construct a single-family residence at 107 Blanton Avenue.
Could you turn the mic up to?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Okay.
Okay. They're seeking to construct a home at 107 Blanton Avenue. The property is zoned high-density residential. But in order to construct a single-family residence, you have to have a special use permit for that, for the house. So, per the code, you have to get a special use permit to construct a single-family residence. And
But-
yes.
You go ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay, so yes, like I said, it's zoned high-density residential, so the special use permit will allow them to construct the single-family residence on their property.
Question.
Yes.
We deal frequently with non-conforming uses, and every time something happens, they have to come forward. Given a special use permit, does that clear all this away? I mean, I don't know why we didn't zone it for single-family to begin with, but we didn't. But if they want to add a porch or do anything, they're going to have to come back because of the special use permit? Are they okay?
No, sir, they'll be fine.
And this may be one of those areas that we need to look at long-term.
Possibly,
Come
which,
in and possibly make that whole area MDR, because most of those properties are single-family or duplexes.
correct. That is very possible. Like you say, it's everything around it is zone HDRA, but you have, for the most part, all single-family residential.
Any other questions from the board? This is a public hearing. If anybody in the audience would like to come forward, anybody on the left? Anybody on the right? Thank you very much. Next item is receive comments regarding a request to rezone property located at 708 South Hill Street, consisting of 3.26 plus or minus acres from medium density residential MDR to low density residential B, LDRB, submitted by Anita Hoffman.
Yes, sir. The property is currently zoned MDR, and we're requesting that the property be rezoned to low-density residential, which is a much more restrictive zoning. What has happened is the property owner on Woodland Drive has encroached Ms. Hoffman's property with several accessory structures, and so to make it, and then there's agreement between Ms. Hoffman and the property owner on Woodland Drive. To make it simple, we're just requesting that it be rezoned to low-density residential so that when she replats it, it'll be an easier process.
I see the staff recommended this, and the Planning and Zoning Board also recommend approval too.
Yes, sir.
And I see this as a positive for that area to stabilize that large tract of land to
Correct.
ensure that it stays residential versus the potential of
Correct. And had she sold the property as is, we would be dealing with possibly 2 to 3 rezonings versus just the one.
Any questions from the board? This is again a public hearing. If anybody would like to come forward, please state your name and address for the record. Okay, thank you very much. 8, receive comments regarding request to amend the Unified Development Code of the City of Griffin, Article 12, Section 1213B, 9 in parentheses, historic character signs. Development Services Director Tucson Kirk will address.
Yes, sir. The purpose of the ordinance is to include the Killed in Action memorial plaques as a permitted sign under the historical character signs in the UDC. Some things have come to light in the last, I guess, week or so that I would actually recommend that we table this, the ordinance for tonight, and maybe address it in February because there's some concerns about some of the conditions. One being that if you look at the ordinance, it speaks to saying only having one sign per facade, and I know there's more plaques than there are buildings downtown to accommodate those plaques. So we may need a little further discussion.
We do this.
Than we have time for tonight.
May I address that? I think it's all good except for I.
Okay.
Under Section C.
Right.
One per front facade.
Correct.
If we remove that and let it be by the property owner, just let him determine what he thinks appropriate, 1, 2, or 3. Like you say, we have 152 KIA names. We don't have enough buildings.
Right.
I'd be happy to go on and approve the ordinance as presented if we removed one plaque per front under Section C. Other than that, I think it's well done. I don't know how the fellow commissioners think of that, but
The only concern that I guess I have is that, if there's not a limit, how many do you put up, or some type of direction? That's my only concern. But if that's the direction you guys want to go in, that's
Right, I
what
think
we'll
it's
do.
like a lot of things that we vote on, that we might, why it seems like it might be just, simple, it may end up being confusing later on. And, if you want to table it and let's really do some studying, I think that I could be in favor of that.
Let's put it in the morning, maybe on the morning workshop and hammer out the
Or
details.
put it in our goals workshop.
Just out of curiosity, how many buildings do we have
Good question.
set aside for the 150?
I'm not exactly sure how many buildings we have downtown, but I know there's
They're
not.
actually asking building owners to sign a license agreement.
Uh-huh.
Some may not sign those, so there'd be no plaques put on those buildings if they don't sign a license. I did talk to John Carlisle about 2 weeks ago about this. He is very interested in making sure it's done professionally and uniformly. And if they have multiple plaques on a building, he wanted some kind of spacing, worked out so it wouldn't look like you had maybe 10 on one building all bunched up together and then maybe one on the next building.
I think it would probably be a good
So I
idea to
thought he would
table
do
it
something. We'll
until
try
the
to work it
workshop
out
too,
for
so that
before the
we
hearing's
would
done.
really have good direction about what it is that we're doing.
Yeah, I think I'd be more comfortable with us setting some bar, not necessarily only 3, but up to at some point to, so, other than that though, I'm cool with it.
okay.
This is a public hearing. Do we want to ask for comments from the audience at this time?
Yes, it's advertised.
This is a public hearing, so if anybody has any comments regarding this matter, glad to have you come before the commission. Thank you, Tucson. All right, item 9, receive comment regarding amending the boundary of the Downtown Development Authority District. Kenwin M. Hayes, Senior Executive Director of the Downtown Development Authority will address. Good evening, Kenwin.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This comes to you guys from the Downtown Development Authority. Has been discussing this for probably the past 6 months about expanding the area to allow additional property owners and business owners access to the benefits of being in the Downtown Development Authority boundary. And specifically, the board has looked at 2 areas to expand the boundary because they feel as though these are potential or areas that property owners have expressed an interest in some of the incentives involved with being in the DDA district, and they see these 2 areas as up-and-coming commercial areas that they think the incentives would be an added benefit to the business owners and/or property owners.
So this will be the section along Broadway, north of the railroad tracks on section B
Yes, sir.
to Second Street, Broadway Central, and then, okay. And this would not include currently the block where the stock shop is and the DPAC, that's not, is that currently the DDA district? It is?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. Any comments, questions from the board? Again, this is a public hearing. If anybody would like to make a comment, feel free to come forward. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Oh, go ahead, come ahead. Go ahead, ma'am. Please give your name and your address for the record, please, ma'am.
Good evening,
Good evening.
Commissioners. My name is Victoria Williams, Dr. Victoria Williams, and my family own property here in Griffin and in Spalding County, most particularly South 4th Street, East Solomon Street, and my uncle, my granduncle, Dr. James Robert Blanton, was a longtime physician here in the city and helped the infirm, the sick, and delivered an awful lot of babies. And I would like to see the legacy of that property indicate something that would make them proud if he and the family were still alive. So I wholeheartedly support the recommendation given to you by Mr. Kevin Hayes. Thank you.
And Ms. Williams, could I get your address for the record, please?
Yes, my address is 4070 Valley Brook Terrace, 3 separate words, College Park, Georgia, 30349, and I grew up in Griffin.
Thank you for being here, Ms.
Okay,
Williams.
thank you.
Is there anybody else? Very well. Moving into the consent agenda, consider minutes of the regular scheduled meeting for December 9, 2014.
Mr. Chairman, if there are no additions or corrections, I move the minutes be approved as presented.
We had a motion and a second. Any discussion or changes? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good. Consent agenda is, okay, so 601. Okay, very well. Regular agenda includes items of which the commission will individually consider and possibly take action. First item is consider resolution making appointment to the office of city attorney and approving compensation for said position. For just a little housekeeping matter, you do not need to second a nomination, just make a nomination.
This is approve a resolution. not a-
Well, I mean, as we go through the items tonight. So,
I move that we approve the resolution.
okay, I've got a motion. Do we have a second?
I move we, go ahead.
Motion is second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
No, raise your hand. So
Okay, or raise your hand. Thank you.
we gotta do this legally here.
Okay. Item 12, consider resolution making an appointment to the office of judge, municipal court, and approving the compensation for said position. Do we have a motion?
Move we approve the resolution for Judge William Johnston.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by raising your hand.
There you go.
There we go, 7-0. Next is consider resolution making appointment to the office of municipal court solicitor and approving compensation for said position.
Mr. Chairman, Solicitor Reed Turner called me today and asked that his name be removed from consideration. And I agreed to pass that on, which leaves us one qualified applicant. So I move we approve the resolution appointing Jessica Watley O'Connor as city solicitor.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor by signal by raising your hand. 7-0. All right, I'll consider making appointment to the office of municipal court clerk by approving compensation of said position.
Chairman, I move we approve the resolution reappointing Yolanda Walker as municipal court clerk.
I have a motion and a second by Commissioner McLemore. Any discussion? All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Item 15, consider a resolution making appointment of the office of municipal registrar and approving compensation for said position.
This is Teresa Watson. Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the resolution appointing Teresa Watson.
Second.
We have motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 7-0. We consider a resolution appointing Teresa Watson, Executive Secretary to the City Manager, as Assistant Secretary to the Commission.
So moved.
We have a motion from Commissioner Ford, second from Commissioner McLemore. Any discussion? All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Item 17, consider resolution accepting the resignation of Judy Flournoy as an Assistant Open Records Officer and designating Teresa Watson as the Assistant Open Records Officer. City Manager Kenny Smith will address.
So moved. I move we do that.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Item 18, consider approval of the 2015 City Griffin Board of Commissioners meeting schedule.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Item 19, consider a request for the special use permit to allow a single-family dwelling to be constructed at 107 Blanton Avenue, submitted by Square Foot Ministries.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the special use permit as presented.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussions or questions? All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Item 20, consider a request to rezone property located at 708 South Hill Street, consisting with 3.26 plus or minus acres from medium-density residential MDR to low-density residential B, submitted by Anita Hoffman.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the rezoning to, as presented.
Second.
And I have a comment. I'd like to congratulate everybody involved for working together and having a solution that seems to be a win-win-win, so.
So a motion is second. Any other discussion, comments? All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Item 21, consider approval regarding request to amend the Unified Development Code of the City of Griffin, Article 12, Section 1213B, parentheses 9, historic character signs.
I move that we table this
We have a motion
for
to
future workshop.
table for future
Second.
workshop in a second. Any discussion? All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 7-0 to table item 21. Item 22, consider approval of a revision of the 2014 policy renaming of facilities and erecting plaques, monuments, and markers, adding a section that excludes said policies applicability to city cemeteries. City Manager Kenny Smith will address.
I move that we approve.
Second.
With motion is second. Any discussion? All in favor, signal by raising your hand. It's 7-0. Item 23, consider resolution amending the boundary of the Downtown Development Authority District.
Make a motion that we approve.
Second.
With a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 7-0. 24, consider approval on first reading of an amendment to the alcohol ordinance to include the requirements for the installation of security cameras at those businesses licensed to sell alcohol by the package for off-premises consumption. Chief Steve Heaton will address. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Since our last meeting and last presentation, there were several questions that the commission had about the proposed ordinance. Staff has gone back and tried to address many of those concerns. One of them was some consideration on the alcohol ordinance, on their alcohol license, in order to offset the cost for the security cameras. What we did was we agreed to give them a one-time $500 reduction on their license to help offset the cost for the security system that we're asking them to place in their business. The second thing was that you wanted us to have a meeting with the business owners there were 40 of them. We went out and hand-delivered letters inviting them to a meeting. On December 16th, we held that meeting. 19 business owners showed up, and we discussed the ordinance in detail. And we did not have many questions whatsoever, mainly in reference to the type of technology that we were asking them to put in their stores. Nobody was dissatisfied with the ordinance or indicated any opposition to the ordinance. The other thing that we have done is that one of the concerns was having an immediate impact on the businesses, and we talked about giving them some time in which to get the security system either updated or to install a security system. And what we agreed upon was 6 months. We talked that to the business owners about both the reduction in the license fees, and we also talked to them about the leadway on installing the cameras. And everybody seemed to be satisfied with those concessions. So with that said, I went back and there was one more question that came up about the fine and fee schedule. And so I met with Judge Johnson, talked to him about how we wanted to address that, and met with Mr. Watley about adding that to Mr. Whalen, about adding it to our ordinance. And we added the fee schedule in G of the ordinance.
I've got to compliment you, Chief, on this process, because we could have just said, we're the government, do it, but I really appreciate working with businesses and getting their buy-in. So nicely done.
Thank you.
Chief, I like it as well, but I guess I may just be an army of one. But if we're going to require businesses with package for off-premises consumption, why wouldn't we want every business to have cameras? And that's just my feeling on that.
Yeah, I would love to see that happen too, but I think that the premise of the initial proposal was to target those businesses that historically have robberies and or thefts, and those folks who have either a package store, a convenience store, or those folks who sell alcohol for consumption.
Mainly, check cashing.
Correct. And so we wanted to target those specific businesses. And I think that rather than just have a blanket ordinance, and I think one of the concerns that you had last time was the constitutionality of forcing folks to be able to do that. I think that if we forced every business to do that, I don't know that I would be able to justify, well, I think it's a good idea, justify being able to do that. But certainly with these types of businesses and the types of crimes that we experience at those businesses, I think that's why we looked at those initially.
Have our cameras been effective? You know, it doesn't seem to be stopping anyone. Example is the Shell station where the young man was shot last night on 362. Surely that person who decided to rob and carry a gun knew that there would be a camera there. Is it truly a deterrent?
You know, I don't know how many robberies we actually stop with cameras. I mean, that would be difficult to know because we'd have to know that somebody intended to do it and then decided not to because of a camera system. But I think it discourages folks from going into those places. I think that obviously there's exceptions where you have people that go in that really don't mind the camera system being there. In the case that you're talking about last night, he had his face covered, went in, and I think that in addition to wanting the money, he was interested in much more than that because he shot the clerk even though he got the money.
Right.
So I think that while we can't, I can't speak to whether or not we actually deter people from committing crimes in a store. I think it would be the reverse of that, or the end of that is also true, that when we have something like that, then we have video evidence of where we need to start looking. In this case, the gentleman had 2 surgeries today. We've yet to be able to speak to him in detail. If we had to wait for him to be able to provide us with witness information, because there were no other witnesses in the case, we would would also be behind in terms of being able to get on top of this type of crime. In this case, we had video, so we were able to do that, get the video, and began conducting some type of investigation, identification of the perpetrator.
Right, I agree with you, because we had this conversation before the meeting started, and I know that it helps in catching the criminals, and that's the goal. Of course, our goal would be that everyone would be safe at their place of work. But it's becoming a weekly habit, it seems, and it's scary.
Amen.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve on first reading this alcohol ordinance amendment.
We have a motion, we have a second? Motion second, and, we had a couple other quick questions. If someone gets penalty, $50 penalty for not following through, and they install the cameras, would they still be eligible for the $500 credit?
Well, they get that up front. That's in order to get them all in compliance. That's when they receive this first license renewal.
Okay.
Or upon their initial, if you get a new business, they would get a $500.
Okay. Yes, sir, go ahead.
Going kind of Rodney's point, the alcohol license itself is one of the narrowing factors as far as who we target, because that's one way we enforce it. The places that have an alcohol license, and, they violate the ultimately don't renew the alcohol license, whereas other expanded businesses would not have that as a mechanism of enforcement. I will also echo what Dick said. I was really on the fence about this thing, and it kind of goes into the whole what do we mandate versus not. And so I went to the town hall, they did really good participation, and they did a good presentation, and at the end, we basically kind of chimed in and said what the heartburn about the commission was, as far as how we go about doing this, and knowing that just up front, we did ask the question, do y'all have a problem with this because of it? They didn't have a problem, then we asked, how many of you already think your cameras are in compliance? They raised their hand, and we said, well, if you ended up finding out your camera system was not in compliance, would you be saying that you have a problem with this? And they all said, no, we don't have a problem with it. So I know for me that really helped. And the other side of this, as far as why it becomes an ordinance, is we explained, or we talked about, this being about more than just your business. This is about catching people so that they're not going to other businesses and just festering out our community. And so I think that in a more global context, that's why this is being brought to us as an ordinance versus something else. So really good job with that at that town hall.
You said we got 40 stores, and we had 19 to show up,
Right.
so that's really less than half of them.
Just under half.
Right.
But then you also talk to more, such as,
Yeah, Mr. Amin couldn't make the meeting, but he said, I've got to upgrade a little bit, but it's a good idea, I'm all for it. I go, okay.
Yeah, I think we gave them plenty of opportunity to be able to speak against the ordinance, and we asked a variety of different ways if they had any suggestions and/or were opposed to the ordinance, and we did not. They didn't have any comments relative to that.
Any other questions? All in favor, please raise your hand. All against? 5-2 is the vote. Commissioner McCord and Commissioner Flowers against. Item 20, thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Good job, sir. Next item, consider approval to amend the City of Griffin General Fund fiscal year 2014-15 operating and capital budget in the amount of $10,610 for the purchase of a custom 800-plus smart card system. Police Chief Steve Hickman.
Before he has to go through a lot, I'm going to move we approve. I like the smart card and putting people on notice. I think it's, again, it's user-friendly.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, signal by raising their hand.
Thank you.
7-0. Item 26, consider approval to accept the donation of $10,155.50 from the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation.
All right.
And amend the budget accordingly for the purchase of a thermal imaging camera.
Make a motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Have we ever turned down a donation?
No, sir.
And they're good at donating, aren't they, Tommy?
All in favor, signal by raising your hand.
Yeah, we appreciate Firehouse
7-0.
Subs.
We do.
no big
Thank you.
check?
No big, yeah.
No big check?
Outstanding. All right, Mr. Bosch will approve directing MEAG Power to deposit 100% of the city's off-system sales margin to the city's flexible operating account short-term portfolio for the power supply year 2015.
So we
Good
hope we
evening,
have
sir.
some, huh?
About 600 million.
How much?
600.
Very good. I move we approve.
Second, yeah, third.
Motion is second. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. 7-0. Thank you, Bill. Moving to item 28. Approve directing MEAG Power to add $209,776 per month to the MEAG bill and deposit $136,354.40 per month to the new generation capacity funding account intermediate extended maturity portfolio and $73,411.60 to the MEAG Competitive Trust short-term portfolio beginning in January 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in
By the
favor?
way, Mr. Bosch,
Yes, sir.
you know, having watched our electric department over the years you've been here, I was pleased so far this winter, even with some pretty interesting events, we've had very minimal outages, so the rebuilt system is,
Don't jinx it.
yeah.
What happened Sunday?
We had a top of a pole break. We probably had a car or something hit a down guy or a pole, and it broke the top off the pole. But they were able to get the majority of the system back on within the hour or so and repair the damage.
Well, it made a lot of other churches come to other churches, which is kind of nice.
We're actually
We
surprised.
joined each other's congregations.
We had a chicken queue across from the pole break, so
Yes, sir.
we got the thrill of the scouts watching the MEAG crew up there working all morning and early afternoon, and it was just this level of professionalism. You know, there wasn't any messing up and
It's interesting when the poles are upside down.
and how it all worked. So great job, and thank you for the effort.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, call the question. All in favor, raise your hand. See by raising your hand. 7-0. Good job. All right. Approve the expedited enforcement and compliance order from Georgia EPD for unpermitted discharge from the City of Griffin's NPDES numbers Georgia 0020214 and permit affluent violation from NPDES permit Georgia 0020014 and Georgia 0030791. Entry into consent and pay settlement in the amount of $2,195 for the Water and Wastewater Department of the Public Works and Utilities Department. Dr. Keller will address.
So I move we approve, and I do have a question.
All right.
We have motion.
This is a customer that clogged up the system with with the drain with grease.
Yeah, one of them.
And, yeah, on the one, and it's our fault, not the customer's fault, is that,
That's how,
that's how it works?
it's kind of like the ammonia issue that we had this last month.
Can you cite those folks or find them?
No, sir. You can't, because the collector system's so big, it would take forever to try to figure out who dumped chicken grease and it caught a rag.
So whereabouts did it discharge?
Ma'am,
Where was the discharge?
I'd have to go back and look,
Out
You don't
west.
know what area?
not off the top of my head.
That was, Cabin Creek was on the west side out.
Cabin Creek is
Yeah.
the issue with the ammonia issue that we have. And we started investigating it, and one of the issues we think with ammonia is that we're having a significant hit, and we forensic some of the people that we're working with. We feel like there's a contribution of meth being dumped into the Cabin Creek Basin is one of the things that we're researching right now. And we've never had an ammonia issue in the last 6 years. So one of the first things the consultant said do you have any drug activity in that basin? And I said, well, we probably do. And he says, well, meth is a contributor to ammonia. It raises the elevation. So we've dropped the digester, cleaned the digester out, renewed the bugs, and we're going to start looking upstream potentially for if we have this issue again.
Have a meth lab somewhere?
It would take I don't know how much right now that we're talking about, but if it gets flushed, it gets into the system and creates a reaction with what's inside. It breaks down the fecal and creates.
Discharge
you have the motion and second. Any other questions? All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Thank you, Dr. Keller.
That would be a good clue for our police chief as well.
Item 30, consider approval of a resolution in accordance with the Georgia Elections Code and the State Election Board to call for the municipal election for District 2, 4, and at-large on Tuesday, November 3rd, 2015, and to establish a quality fee in accordance with the Georgia Election Code and rules of the State Election Board, Sections 21 to 131, in the amount of $403.20.
I move we approve.
The motion is second. Any discussion? All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 7-0. All right, doing nominations now. Appoint one committee member to the Board of Health. The term of Commissioner Dick Marr expires 12/31/14. Do we have any nominations?
I'd love to serve again if y'all want me to.
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Dick Moore to continue.
Okay, we have a nomination. Any others?
Make a motion, we close nominations.
We have a motion to close nominations. Do we have a second? Second by Ryan. All in by acclamation, Dick Marr is Board of Health.
Still got a vote.
Okay, all in favor, raise your hand. All right, 7-0. Item 32, appoint one member, chairperson, or designate the Griffin Spalding Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. Dick Marr has been serving in this capacity. Would anybody else have the desire to serve in that position?
If you want to give it up.
Dick, do you still want to serve in?
Oh, I like doing it, but somebody else wants to,
Okay.
they're welcome to also.
All right. I will appoint Dick Marr for that position for Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. Thank you for your service.
He does not have another life.
What's that?
I asked him did he ever sleep, and he said no.
He likes the free food. All right, appoint 4 members to the Downtown Development Authority for the terms of Otis Blake III, Daniel Searcy, Didamine, and Joey Scanlon expire on 12/31/14.
I move that if they put their names in, that we consider them for re-election.
Okay, so we've got all 4 nominated. Are there any other nominations? Do we have a motion to close nominations?
So moved.
Second.
Dick and Rodney. All right, all in favor of closing nominations, raise your hand. 7-0, good job. All right, appoint 3 members to the Environmental Council whose initial 1-year terms expires 12/31/2014, to include Jay Everett, Betty Bogg Jones, and Amanda Slade.
Well, the only 2 names in the book are Melissa Tober and Frank Harris, as far as I know. None of the other 3 are in the book.
Betty Jones is also in there.
Betty Jones is there.
I apologize, yeah, Betty Jones.
So we got 3. We've got Melissa Tober, B. Frank Harris, and Betty Jones.
I move that we appoint them.
All right, we've got nominations for these 3. Any other nominations? Do we have a motion to close nominations?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor of closing nominations, raise your right hand for your hand. 7-0. Okay, appoint member to the Downtown Council. I'm going to plan to continue serving on that capacity unless somebody else would like to have that great opportunity.
You'll do a good job.
Is that the chairwoman, or we need to vote on that?
Make a nominee of Doug Holberg.
Second?
Okay, so we have a motion.
Make a motion to close nominations.
Motion to close nominations. Do we have a
Second.
second? All right, all in favor of closing nominations, raise your right hand. Very good, thank you. Appoint of one post member, Post 9, the Griffin Spalding Airport Authority. The term of Post 9 member Ron Alexander expired 12/31.
Mr. Chairman, it's the only name in the book, and the Airport Authority last night voted to recommend he be reappointed, and therefore I nominate Ron.
I'll second it.
Make a motion that we close nominations.
We have a motion to close.
Second.
Second. All in favor of closing nominations, please raise your hand. 7-0, very good. Appoint 3 members to the Griffin Spalding Development Authority. The terms of Ron McLemore, chairperson designee, Alton Knight, and Chuck Copeland. And I'd like to serve in that capacity as chairperson. And we've got 2 names in the book.
Mr. Chairman, I nominate the 2 names in the book was Charles Copeland and William Thielman.
Okay, any other nominations? Do we have a motion to close nominations?
So moved.
Second.
We got a motion second. All in
All right, so now who was the other, Bill?
Bill
Bill
Thielman
Thielman
and Charles
and Chuck
Copeland are in the
Copeland.
book.
Okay, right,
Okay.
all right.
So all in favor of closing nominations, please raise your hand. 7-0. All right, appoint one commissioner member to the Griffin Spalding E911 Board, term of Commissioner Cora Flowers, chairperson or designee. Cora, do you want to continue serving there, or do you want to?
Oh, no, please leave me on there.
I move that we keep.
It's a
Yeah.
It's a
Close
designee for
nomination.
chairperson, so
I
I
nominate
will,
Cora.
well, you don't have, it's just a designee
Oh,
for
it's a
Oh,
chairperson.
is it?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All
So
right.
Cora, well, thank you very
Oh,
much.
it doesn't say that.
Appoint 2 members to the Griffin Spalding Hospital Authority. The terms of ex officio Commissioner Member Rodney McCord and Charles Heggie, and expired on 12/31/2014.
Well, Mr. Chairman, there are 2 names in the book, other than one is for Dr. Teresa Buchanan, and the other is for Mr. Heggie. I don't want to stir up a lot of issue, but Mr. Heggie was not in the book as of noon Friday, which was our written rules for that. So if you want to consider him, I think we should vote to suspend the rules in that case. Otherwise, by our rules, have to be in the book by noon. He's ineligible. So what do y'all want to do?
Suspend the rules.
So do we have a motion to suspend the rules?
Motion.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I think we need a motion to suspend the rules. I just think we need to vote on it.
Mhm.
Make a nomination.
Okay, well, Mr. Chairman, I nominate Dr. Teresa Buchanan.
And we have a motion for Ms. Buchanan.
Have a nomination for Mr. Buchanan.
And do we have another nomination?
I make a nomination, Charles Heggie.
Yes, we have 2 nominations. We have a motion to close nominations.
So moved.
We have a second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor of closing nominations, please raise your hand. It's 7-0. We'll take them alphabetical order. Those in favor of Ms. Buchanan, please raise your hand. And those in favor of Mr. Heggie. 4-3. Vote. All right, number 40, appoint 3 members to the Historic Preservation. Yes.
Did you appoint a commission member to that?
Oh, Rodney tried to sneak out of that one. Rodney, we'd like to,
Yeah.
would you like to consider continue serving in that capacity?
I mean, if somebody else wants to do that. Don't everybody raise their hand at once.
Oh, I can't. It would make a conflict with me on the Hope Board.
It wouldn't, you're ex officio, you just get to
Yeah,
sit there.
he is ex officio.
No, I don't think that would be appropriate, since being on the Hope Board, we're one of the largest recipients. I think so.
I will continue.
Okay. Do we need to vote on that?
Is that
Mr. Smith,
is
okay.
that
So Ms. McCord nominated himself, serve on that. Do we have a motion to close nominations?
Yes, so moved.
I so moved.
Who made the motion to close nominations?
did.
And who seconded it? Joanne?
I did.
All right, all in favor of closing nominations, raise hand. 7-0 for
Right.
Mr. Rodney McCord. Appoint 3 members to the Historic Preservation Commission. The terms of Doug Krebs, Jim Ogletree, and Matthew Ron expire. And we've got Doug Krebs, Jim Ogletree, Mr. Ron, I don't believe lives here anymore.
I believe he moved, so we actually only have 2. We may have to come back later and.
Okay.
He's not in the books. Mr. Chairman, I nominate the 2 in the book, Doug Krebs and Jim Ogletree.
Okay. Do we have any other nominations? We have a motion to close nominations.
So moved.
We have a motion, second?
Second.
All right, all in favor of closing nominations, please raise your hand. Very well, 7-0. Appoint 3 members to the Griffin Housing Authority in terms of Gene Miller, Gloria Pine, resident appointee, and Commissioner Cynthia Reed Ward, Commissioner's appointee, expires on 12/31/14.
I nominate Commissioner Ward for her position. And the other 2 are in the book, I think.
Gene
Right,
Miller,
so, yeah, Gene Miller
and then
and
the,
Gloria Pine.
so we have nominations of the 3,
Any
Yes.
other nominations? Do we have a motion to close nominations?
So moved.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor of closing nominations, please raise your hand. 7-0.
Keep up the good work over there.
Keep
I'll do my best.
Keep bulldozing.
That's right.
42, appoint 3 members of the Griffin Main Street Advisory Board. The term of chairperson or designee, and Christy Brooks, business property owner, expires 12/31/14, and Gene Rumgen, at-large member, has resigned. If you're good to go, Cynthia, you want to continue serving that capacity? So appoint Cynthia,
Is that a chair or is that a?
is his term of chairperson or designee.
Okay, so you did.
So Cynthia in that position. And then Jim Ogletree, his name was in the book. He is the historic preservation appointee, so he was a little confused in regards to whether he needed to have his name in the book. So he is covered in regards to his capacity as Historic Preservation Commission. So his name does not need to be considered. And so that gives you 3 people right now in the book.
I'd like to nominate Vera McIntosh.
Okay, as the at-large position?
Who was that?
As the at-large position?
Replace Gene.
Okay. So if we can take, is there any more names for at-large nominations?
And I move we close nominations for the at-large.
She's not there.
Correct.
Okay, did you want a nomination closed for the at-large or not?
That's why I was asking for motion for closing nominations. So do we have a motion?
I'd so move to close the
Second.
at-large
Do we have a
nominations.
second? All in favor of closing nominations, please raise your hand for that large position. 7-0. And then that leaves a gentleman named Marcus R. Allen for a downtown business owner. We have a,
Any other nominations in there?
Make a motion, we close nomination.
we didn't make,
I'll nominate Marcus Allen.
okay, Marcus Allen.
And I second his nomination
Motion to
closed.
close nominations, Dixon, second it. All in favor of closing nominations, please raise your hand. 7-0. Very well. Okay, appoint pension committee representatives, chairperson of the commission or designee, employee representative, and retiree representative as required for the Georgia Municipal Employee System pension plan. Terms of the employee representative, Connie Hendricks, and retiree representative, David Weldon.
I nominate both Connie and David Weldon to continue.
Okay.
Right, they weren't in the book, but did they need to be in the book?
No,
Okay,
Okay.
not
all
for
right.
them.
So,
I'll second that.
do we have a motion to close nominations?
So moved.
Second? Do we have a second? Second. By Ryan. All in favor, raise your right hand. And I'll serve that capacity as chairman of the pension committee. Appoint 3 members to the Planning and Zoning Board, the terms of David Brock, District 4, Jim Hill, District 5, and Neil Baldwin at large. So, Ms. Todd?
Yes, David Brock would love to continue.
Okay. And Dick?
I renominate again Jim Hill to continue.
And I'm going to reappoint Neil Baldwin as a city at-large appointee.
That doesn't have to be voted on.
Yes, ma'am. Item 45, appoint 3 members of the Spalding Collaborative Authority for Families and Children, the terms of Sergeant Sam Parks, City Law Enforcement, Eula Redding, City Consumer Family Services at large, and City Commissioner Doug Holberg.
I nominate those 3.
If someone would like to take on collaborative, I've done it the last couple of years.
I did it the first 10
Is
years.
Sam Park?
No. You need Morris Pike.
Morris
I'm
Pike.
sorry, I apologize.
Was it
sir.
Morris Pike?
I
Cancel
did
that.
it the first 10 years.
I nominate Eula Redding and Morris Pike for the, sorry.
Yeah.
And
Would anybody, this group normally meets bi-monthly, quarterly?
I did it the first 10 years.
your experience,
I'm not
you know,
going to do it this time.
They meet when though?
It's randomly, like either on a quarterly basis or bi-monthly basis. with
It's a
board
great
members.
networking
So it's a good
situation,
networking.
Cynthia.
It's got different entities. You don't need to network. So if someone would like an opportunity,
We have to have
I
somebody,
do
I
it,
know.
I do
you
it.
would like to do that?
All right,
All right.
bless you, Cynthia. Bless
then
you.
I cancel my nomination for Doug and I nominate Cynthia.
Okay, we have a nomination for Cynthia.
I make a motion that we close the nomination.
Thank you, Mr. McCord. Do we have a second?
Second?
Second. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. Almost got the 7 o'clock time.
I'll move.
All right, appoint one non-public member to Three Rivers Board of Directors. The term of citizen appointee Charles Jones expires 12/31, and he is the only name in the book, I believe.
Nominate
And I
Charles
can vouch
Jones.
that he's been a very good member.
He goes to every, I mean, he's there
Yes.
almost every meeting.
Nominate Charles Jones.
Second. I'm sorry, I move we
Close nominations, Mr.
And I second that.
And we have a second. All in favor of closing nominations, please raise your hand. 7-0, your arm's getting tired yet? Okay, appoint 4 members to the Griffin Spalding Area Transportation Committee. The terms of committee members.
You forgot
I'm sorry.
47.
Appoint 2 members of the Three Rivers Area Agency and Aging Advisory Council. These are new appointments requested by the Three Rivers Regional Commission.
Is there any background to that, Doug?
I think we need to table that, and then we maybe get some information and come up with some names. I've got a couple folks that might.
I don't think we have any names for it.
There are no names in the
Is
book.
Ruth Daniels still council on aging here?
I don't know.
You don't know? I would
She was
second
there
tabling it.
last
Okay.
month, I saw her.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a motion from Ms. Todd to table. Do we have a
Second.
second from Mr. McCord? All in favor, please signal raise your hand. 7-0, and we'll work on that in the next 2 weeks. Appoint 4 members of Griffin Spalding Area Transportation Committee. The terms of Commissioner Dick Mara and Doug Holberg, Commission appointees, expired 12/31/14. Terms for the seat-at-large appointments, Neil Bonds and Michelle Cannon, expired 12/31/14. The terms of ex officio Fire Chief James Klingsdale and ex officio Police Chief Designated Donald Britt, expired 12/31/14. Public Safety Director desires to appoint ex officio Fire Chief or designee Mike Mitchell Cordell and reappoint ex officio Police Chief or designee Donald Britt. So we've got the 2 ex officio, Donald Britt and Mitchell Cordell.
I nominate both.
Okay, and Neil Bond and Michelle Cannon are there 90% of the time at meetings.
They're in the book, and I nominate
Yeah,
both
and
of them.
I think they're very loyal.
And I'd like to continue serving in that capacity.
Make a motion to close nomination.
I nominate you, Doug.
And I'll nominate Dick.
All right, now you can make it up.
Make a motion we close nomination.
Got a motion to close nominations.
This boy loves.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please raise your hand. 7-0, and we have a meeting next Wednesday.
Yes.
Appoint 1 member, chairperson or designate to Workforce Investment Council. The term of City Commissioner Ron McLemore expires 12/31.
That's you, sir.
Drew, is that required by law of the chairperson?
Yes.
Yes.
By the new governor's workforce investment.
The new law.
I can't wait. Thank you very much.
So you are it.
Item 50, oh, look how close it was.
Oh, that's right.
Consider approval to enter an executive session so let's, if we can do city manager,
Can we table
deviate.
going into closed session?
we'll, do city manager.
I just have a couple of quick things. I really need to find out how many golf carts we need for the parade on Monday, the 19th, that week parade.
Is this another candlelight parade?
I believe it's a candidate. And I've heard from a couple of you, but
I like a golf cart.
Sir?
I would like a golf cart.
I am supposed to be out of town, but if by chance I come back on Sunday, then I'll walk, hang out with Rodney, or jump on a fire engine.
Are you gonna have candy?
We can't throw candy.
If you don't let me know
We can
tonight,
hand it out.
call me or
I'm
shoot
gonna-
me an email so I'll know exactly
Okay.
how many golf
You have
carts to
candy?
get together.
Candy,
We
I don't understand.
need to make plans for our annual goals workshop. I shot you an email before you start thinking about that, and I guess the chairman can coordinate with me as to what we want to do going forward if you don't want to really get into it tonight.
What if we,
Kenny, you're gonna have to speak into your microphone. I'm not hearing you over
Sorry.
here.
We were talking about
I heard all that, yeah.
annual workshop.
But I didn't hear the mumbling as your voice was
I'm
down.
sorry, I apologize.
what if we did our goals workshop the first meeting day in March?
No, we need
That's
it
just-
earlier.
Need to do that in February?
We need it in February, so they can do theirs.
Can't we
and
do
plan
it when
budget.
we have the workshop on the last meeting in
What
February?
about the first meeting? We got other things in the workshop you need, or not?
In February?
You're talking about in January?
No, February.
February.
First meeting of
That's what I meant. I said March, I meant February.
First meeting in February?
That Tuesday? That works for me.
It works for me. And will it, you don't know if it'll work for you yet, do you, Cora?
That's February 10th. And we'll just start in the morning,
Like we would a workshop.
8 o'clock.
We must be out there.
Okay, 9 o'clock's fine. We'll have lunch and go through 3 or 4 o'clock.
8 o'clock hitting with a thud over there.
9 o'clock's good. That way you
9
have your
o'clock?
emergency.
Yeah, 8 o'clock's too early.
9 o'clock.
It's cold in February.
Okay, we can.
And we'll
do
discuss whether we do it here or go to off-site or, we'll discuss that.
Okay. Remember, next weekend is GMA Mayor's Day, and I need to RSVP for the MEAG dinner, if you'll let me know about that.
I'll be there.
One,
I'll be there. 2 of us will be there.
two,
That's Cynthia.
That's the only time I ever get to see Tyrone, so he's gonna come in.
one.
You better come on then.
One, two,
But same room, just in case.
four, okay. And, the police department's holding a community meeting at Fairmont Community Center on Monday the 26th. That'll be the Monday night before our next meeting on the 4th Tuesday. And Alvin, at our next meeting, if you'll wear your Sunday best, not that you don't always, but Alvin wants to get an updated photo of the group. So if you'll be prepared for that right after the, next meeting. Okay?
Give me a chance to dye my hair dark, right?
Just go to the barber shop.
I'm
That'll
not gonna be
okay.
here at the next meeting.
Ma'am?
I'm not gonna be here at the next meeting. Let's do it the meeting after.
Photoshop.
Then we'll do it at the next meeting.
Yeah,
Okay.
You got a glam shot we can stick in there?
I mean.
We do it tonight.
Take it tonight. Take it tonight.
We'll adjust and adapt.
We will. Anything else, Kenny?
No, no, sir, that's it.
Mr. Whalen?
No, we got executive session.
Yes, sir.
No.
Any comments, Mr. Ford?
Executive session.
I'll say, welcome to Ms. Watson over there. I think this is the first meeting, right? Yeah, first official meeting, so I know she's gonna be an asset. I'm glad to have you on board. And, also just thank the commission again for the next 1 year. And I do think we should have, candy at the MLK Day Parade, because the candy was parade is a bad thing.
What do you think about candy?
I think they should have candy at the parade.
Thank you, Brian. I think we always should have
It's
candy.
sad when you're walking along and little kids are expecting.
Exactly,
candy.
exactly.
Candy is good.
We need to change the rule about throwing out candy. Throw it out.
Well, we don't throw it out. Other people throw it out, but we don't throw it. Right, we pass it out.
All
Come
right.
on, Kenny, buy some candy.
Kenny candy, come on.
Come on, man, stop being so cheap.
Not my rule.
Whose rule is it?
Who is it?
Ours.
Who's
Change
who?
it.
Change it.
Yeah, hey, we definitely need to change.
We've
When did
never
we do
run
that?
over any kid on going for candy, so.
Never.
Okay. Anything else, Brian?
No, no.
Dick?
Yeah, one quick thing. The state legislature study panel on taxes come forward with an idea, and in front of that idea is to raise transportation money, which the state needs, by taking away sales tax from all school boards, city commissions, and counties, by taking away sales tax on fuel from all the local governments so that the state can have more, which is something like a $600 million hit to the local governments in Georgia, so those in the Gold Dome can get more transportation money. And this sounds like a very serious thing coming down. So the LPC wants to know, when we need some help, would you please call and tell me?
Why don't they just install a 1 cent, additional tax for transportation for roads?
Because they don't have the guts to stand up and do what they need, so they'd rather steal it from us, and that's my unbridled
Right.
opinion.
Well, you know, we live in danger of the Georgia legislature anyway.
No man's life, liberty, or pursuit of happiness is safe in the legislation of the station. Remember that.
That's right.
Ms. Todd? Anything?
No, none, thank you.
Ms. Cora?
No comment.
No comment.
Today, we had our meeting with the Archway Partnerships, and next meeting, we will, hopefully, all 3 governments, within the next 2 weeks, will approve an intergovernment memorandum of understanding that the Archway Partnership will take place in Griffin, Georgia. It will take effect July 1st, so we
So
talked about.
who was that part of that, Doug?
Today was myself, Kenny, Rita Johnson, Jenna Garrison, and
Chuck Copeland, Stephanie
Chuck
Wendell,
Copeland, Stephanie
Coach
So,
Wendell.
I mean, I knew that
Dr. Jones,
eventually y'all wanted to do
James
this, but
Westbrook.
when was it decided that this group would recommend it and
At
that
the
we'd
last,
actually do it?
at the last get-together of the folks who went on the retreat,
Yeah,
So the,
I don't know if you were,
I missed the last one, yeah.
they're ready to make, push everybody behind and move Spalding County to the head of the line and give us the opportunity to be the next Archway community. So it's, ready to move forward. It's exciting times and the
And what
president,
is the cost?
it'll be approximately 20,000 per, it'll be 60,000 a year, 20,000 per government.
Per government?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, okay.
That'll be coming up in 2 weeks. Correct. All right, anything else? Do we have need a motion?
We enter an executive session.
Pursuant to OCGA Section 5014-3B for the purpose of deliberating and discussing the acquisition of real estate.
second.
The motion second, all in favor say aye.